It's not easy reaching greatness. It's not easy reaching greatness.
I said I'm ready for greatness. I said I'm ready for greatness. I said I'm ready for greatness. I said I'm ready for greatness.
What's good, everybody? This is the Excavate and Elevate podcast. I'm your host, Kyle. It's been a while since I did a podcast episode. I've been a busy man lately with my 9 to 5. I've been coaching a little bit, and I haven't been doing much content creation lately because I'm getting ready for a baby. So, in my coaching, though, and in my own personal experience with certain friends, family members, I've realized that I wanted to do a series on relationships. I wanted to break down relationships and help people understand the rules or the logic behind relationships. And it led me to want to start off my relationship series with this thought. The thought is your lack of knowledge about relationships is partly what is responsible for destroying your relationships. So, being naturally social creatures, unless we are choosing to isolate ourselves, we all have relationships with someone on some level. At least we can say that we've had a parent slash guardian relationship as a child. So we've at least had that kind of relationship. So we've been in relationship before. So this covers the people who say they don't have any friends, never had a intimate romantic relationship. Even if you've lived under a rock all your life, you've had to have had a parent guardian relationship. Unless you're some of the few who have been put into adoption or orphaned. So we've all been in relationships. So we all can understand that in that parent, guardian, and child relationship, parent or guardian and child relationship, there are expectations and there's a certain logic, there's a certain framework to that relationship. There's a code of conduct, for instance. What I've observed from my clients and from my own personal experience is many do not understand what kind of relationship they are in. They don't understand what it means to be in a relationship. And I'm finding that even though we are very much well connected through social media, the internet, we have cell phones, everybody is just a text, a phone call, email, or a direct message away. It's an understatement and it's a highly cliche phrase now to say that we are even more disconnected than ever. Even if we are hooking up or linking up more often, we are disconnected from the psychology or the understanding of how relationships are supposed to function, and we fail to have the tools and the methodology on how to deal with problems in our relationships. I find that individually speaking, we are all very much selfish, egotistical in nature, and I hate to say it, many of us, exhibit psychopathic behavior. Now, psychopathic behavior is characterized by a lack of empathy and remorse, along with manipulative and exploitive behavior. I can't help but notice on social media that many relationships, if you want to call them relationships, and if you do call them relationships, they look like parasitic relationships where either the man or woman is in the relationship for selfish reasons. They want to be pampered, they want to be cared for, they want someone at their disposal, and uh they want somebody at their leisure. So they often use manipulative behavior, um, and they have like a capitalistic mindset around relationships where if I can't capitalize off of you, I will shop somewhere else. And I believe that this is psychopathic behavior. So I wanted to talk today just briefly about what relationships are, what relationships look like. We all kind of understand what relationships look like. We know the difference between the love between a parent and a child, a brother and a sister. We know there's a difference between love between a family member and an intimate partner. We understand this, but I think we need to recognize that even though we recognize there's a difference in these relationships, we still get into these relationships not knowing that there are expectations for us as a partner. There is a level of commitment that we have to put into it. We fail to have the right mindset while engaging in relationships. So I just want to cover the types of relationships there are. There are familial relationships. That's where you have a relationship between parents, siblings, and other relatives. We have romantic relationships. These are intimate relationships involving emotional and or physical intimacy. We have friendships, which embody close connections based on mutual respect, trust, and companionship. And then, of course, there's professional relationships. These are with colleagues, supervisors, and clients. And I find in all these relationships, they all suffer in the same way. Whether it's a business relationship, a familial relationship, or an intimate relationship, or French, or a suffering friendship, it's often lacking from these keys, which are connection, having a strong connection, having a bond or link between individual or entities, mutual behavior or reciprocity. I see this as a big miss in relationships, meaning there is poor mentality around the idea of wanting to serve my partner just for the sake of serving my partner, being selfless instead of selfish. Again, it goes back to if I can't capitalize off this relationship, if I don't receive what I want from this relationship, then I'm going to go shop around. And we feel like we need to shop around because often we shop around because we feel like we're not receiving what we want. But often the reason why we're not receiving what we want is because our partner feels like they're not receiving what they want. So both individuals decide to withhold what they know their partner wants in an act of almost like a rebellion, trying to get your attention, trying to make you feel the pain that I feel, or on a more conscious level, I don't want to do something nice for you if I feel like you're not being nice to me. So we need mutual behaviors, feelings, emotions, and sentiments experienced in the context of the relationship. And I feel like feelings are being ignored because we're so consumed in our own feelings that we often have a hard time connecting with our partner to empathize with our partner's feelings, to know what they want, what they need, what they desire. A level of commitment, especially in intimate relationships. Once you start becoming intimate, it's very important that you are committed in most cases because between a man and a woman, there's an opportunity for a life to be created. And if that life is created, you want two individuals who are committed to taking care of that life. You want two people who are committed to now doing life together, because now there's this child that we have to take care of. Commitment means we are working together for the same cause, and my wins are your wins, and your losses are my losses. So everything we do is in an effort to make sure that we stay strong. We over me mentality. We need to be good communicators. We need to have the ability to exchange information, ideas, and feelings with one another. We need respect, acknowledging and valuing the other person's feelings, thoughts, and actions. We need to have trust. The ability to believe in the reliability and the honesty of the other person, knowing that what you say to me is the truth, and knowing that I could take what you say at face value, knowing that you're not withholding anything from me, having a level of transparency and vulnerability, so that, like I said, when the chips are down, I could trust you. I could trust you with personal information. I could trust you with my feelings. I could be vulnerable. So, looking at those keys, if you're not happy in your relationships, chances are one of these keys are missing from your relationship. And it's missing probably because either one of you or both of you are not bringing one of these keys to the table. I find that people are connecting and engaging with people and they don't understand what kind of relationship they are in. I'm finding that they lack the ability to communicate and understand the expectations for whatever connection that they find themselves in. And I find that because people get into relationships, especially young people get into relationships, they start out as friends, they explore their friendship, things turn intimate, and because they don't truly understand what they're looking for in life, because they don't know what their partner wants, because their partner doesn't know what they want, often what happens in these relationships is we have bad experiences that leave us broken and scarred and feeling like we're valueless, or that no one loves us, or we're unlovable, or we have these faults that we can't overcome. And I feel like these scars or these wounds that we get in relationships come from not understanding what it means to be in relationship. So going forward, I want to touch on some of those keys and how we can build trust, how we can build communication. I want to talk about building respect, building commitment, and engaging in understanding each other's feelings. I feel like that's a conversation about emotional intelligence and emotional awareness. I want to talk more about reciprocity and the benefits of reciprocity. And then I want to talk about how we can strengthen each other's connection with one another. So, that was just a short video of what's been on my heart lately. Again, it's what I've experienced in coaching clients, in my own personal experience, in my own relationship, and then in the relationship between family members. And I find that for how we are, I think that it's crazy that for the fact, I don't know how to phrase this. When it comes to relationships, I feel like we struggle to understand one another psychologically. We fail to understand each other on a spiritual level. We fail to understand each other. I feel like we just don't understand each other. I feel like we don't understand each other emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. And I feel like in order to be able to live with one another, I want us all to live in a fruitful ecosystem. And in order to do that, we have to be able to understand one another. So, with that being said, I want to close this video out and say, I hope you have a good day. I hope you do whatever it takes to dig deep and aim up at the best version of yourself. I just want you to grow, learn, and reach peak experiences both in your life and in your relationships. We only get one life, people, and you should make it your best life. Deuces.
I said I'm ready for greatness. I said I'm ready for greatness.